What's up, tricksters, and welcome to the Ultimate Tejo Guide, presented by your favorite all-time Radiant coach, Charlatano Papito. Today I'm going to teach you everything that you need to know in order to master Tejo.
Tejo.
And I'm also going to show you all of the most important mechanics, interactions, and different combos that you definitely need to learn. So without any further ado, let's make out of you a Tejo main, or let's teach you how to counter him. His first ability is called Stealth Drone. It costs 300 credits and it is like a Sky's Recon Dog combined with Chaos Knife. The drone lasts for around 6.5 seconds and it has the same speed as if you're running with your knife out. Even though it is called Stealth Drone, enemies can clearly see it, hear it, and destroy it if they're around 15 meters away from it. Basically, the invisibility range of this drone is same as his vision range. If you can see enemies, they can also see the drone. They will also get the audio and visual notification that the drone is looking at them, similar to how the Cypher's camera works. Also, once enemies reveal your drone, it cannot become invisible again. They will see it until it's gone. And when you activate Tejo's drone, same as with the Sova's drone, enemies can hear it even though it is invisible. It takes only 2 bullets to destroy it with normal guns such as Classic and Vandal, while shotguns and snipers can instantly destroy it with 1 shot. Every ability that does some kind of damage can easily destroy it because it has only around 50 health points. Enemies can also destroy it with a pre-fire while it is fully invisible or while it is activated up in the air. But if you detonate this ability before it is demolished, drone is going to jump up and send a pulse which briefly reveals all of enemies that are in the line of sight, and they're also going to be suppressed for around 7 seconds. Remember that enemies need to be exactly in the line of sight of this pulse in order to be revealed and suppressed. So if enemies are behind smokes or some kind of a cover, this pulse is not going to hit them. The maximum distance of this pulse is around 30 meters, which is similar to the sound notification circle on minimap. When it comes to its movement, you can jump with drone and reach the same heights as you can with any other agent, but you cannot bunny hop with this ability. One cool tech that you can use to tag enemies in close quarters is jumping around corners or through smokes and instantly pressing left click to detonate the pulse. This will make it harder for enemies to destroy it because most players will be pre-aiming it at the ground with their crosshair placement. By the way, obviously you cannot use ropes with Tejo's drone, and his reveal is not that reliable if you want to spam enemies through smokes and walls. But this fast reveal is amazing if you're using it for your teammates to spam enemies for a free kill. And as a final info, the movement position in which you activate drone is the position in which you're going to be while you're using it. Once again, same as with the Cypher's camera. So remember to crouch and hide your head, my friends. Overall, this is a very powerful ability on both attackers and defenders side to gather early information before you engage enemies or to deny enemies utility. Now, Stealth Drone cannot be tagged nor be revealed by other Recon and Sentinel's utility. For an example, Chamber's trademark won't activate as the drone is passing it, same as the Killjoy's turret and Alarm Bot. Recon abilities such as Cypher Camera can clearly see it on 15 meters range, but you cannot tag it, while a Recon Dart won't reveal it and you cannot stick it onto Tejo's drone, but for some reason you can actually tag it with the Sova's drone and reveal it. Also, drone can clearly reveal any Sentinel's utility such as Killjoy Nanoswarm, Cypher Tripwires, Deadlock Sound Sensors, and Vice Wall, but it won't trigger any of them. When it comes to its movement, it behaves like a regular player, so drone can be flashed, stunned, displaced, and buffed, same as any other Recon ability. And yes, you can even shift with this drone and make his little footsteps completely inaudible. Durations of these effects are same as if you did these abilities onto an agent, but there are a few exceptions. It can be fully tagged by Deadlock's GravNet, its movement is significantly slower, and enemies will get an audio cue that it is tagged. But you cannot remove the pin of GravNet because drones don't have hands, obviously. It can easily speedrun through Astra's gravity well, like there's nothing on the floor, and Fade abilities have absolutely no effects on this drone. Now, obviously, it cannot pass through or go above Sage Wall, Deadlock Wall, and any other similar terrain, and it is going to make a sound when it is passing through Cypher's cage. When it comes to its reveal, any smoke or cover is going to block this effect, such as Astra's ultimate and smokes. For an example, jet smokes are a really good counter to this ability because you can deploy them really fast to cover yourself. But this ability is a really strong counter for Viper's ultimate, because not only that you can scout for enemies inside of her pit, but if you reveal them, she can be an easy kill. Now, when it comes to the suppress effect, it's literally same as Chaos Knife. You cannot cancel abilities that are already deployed, such as Cypher, Killjoy, Viper, Sky, Phoenix, and Vi's ultimate. But you can cancel or prevent enemies from using every ability that is being deployed, such as for an example Jet, Neon, Raze, Sova, Gecko, and Chamber's ultimate. And once enemies are suppressed, all of their abilities or setups are going to be disabled, and they cannot use any other ability for 7 seconds. Remember that Yoru is invincible inside of his ultimate, so all of the Tejo's abilities cannot touch him, while Yoru is probably the best counter for this agent. Now, if you get suppressed by Chaos Knife or his ultimate, obviously Tejo's drone is going to be cancelled, but all of the other abilities will still be deployed if you've used them before you got suppressed. And once again, as a final note, drone is literally made out of paper, so any damaging ability can easily destroy it. When it comes to combos with other agents and their abilities, there isn't that much to talk about, because at the end of the day, this is mainly a recon ability. But as I've already mentioned, Tejo's stealth drone can act like a better version of Sova's recon dart, when your teammates want to instantly spam enemies through smokes and walls. For an example, when enemies are pushing B set of Lotus, you can use your drone to reveal enemies, and then your teammates from CT can take some free kills with this spam. Same tactic we can use on both attackers and defender side on any map that has the walls made out of paper. But it is really hard to do this spam yourself because reveal doesn't last that long and the pull-out animation of guns is way too slow in order to consistently get the kills. Before we continue, I want to tell you that soon I'll start making the ranked playbook where I'm going to cover all of the best tips, tricks and strategies for every single Valorant map with Tejo. So if you want to get this playbook, make sure to join my Discord server for private coaching, and also remember to tune into my daily Twitch streams where I'll be making it live. Now, his second ability is called Special Delivery. It costs 300 credits and you basically fire a projectile that detonates 2 seconds after it lands onto some surface. And yes, it can also stick onto agents as well. Players that are standing in the middle are stunned for around 3.5 seconds, while players caught on the edge are stunned for around 2.5 to 3 seconds. You can also use alternate fire to bounce this projectile and develop some crazy lineups, same as you do with Neon, but with this ability you only stun the spot where it lands. Remember that this stun is a bubble explosion similar to Chaos Knife, and it can also stun players that are hiding behind objects. If you fire this ability way too high or way too low, it's not going to stun your enemies at all. Also, be very careful when you're using Special Delivery, because it can stun both you and your teammates as well. And as a final note, projectile can travel for around 120 meters before it disintegrates, and there is absolutely no way to destroy it. You can only dodge it. When it comes to interactions with other abilities, it works same as any other stun in Valorant. Beside agents, you can also stun and displace abilities such as Sova Drone, Cypher Camera, Raze Boombot, etc. And same as any other stun, it is going to cut in half Jet's dash and Neon's slide distance. Now, Special Delivery works the best in combination with agents that have a lot of other damaging abilities, such as Breach, Brimstone, Gecko, KO, Killjoy, Phoenix, Raze, Sova, and Viper. These agent combos you can perform on both attackers and defenders side in order to take some free kills and make numbers advantage. So let me show you a few examples. If you think that enemies are going to push a set of Fracture, you can instantly use your stun in this choke point and combine it with Breach Aftershock for some easy kills. If enemy Jet is always dashing inside of this corner on a set of Bind, you can bounce your stun from Lamps and combine it with Raze Nade in order to delete her. If your teammates want to take the aim and control of Ascent, you can do it easily in combination with Phoenix Molotov lineup. And on attacker side, we can perform similar combos to kill enemies that are stuck in corners or that are peeking main areas. The only thing that you need to remember when you're using these combos is that timings matter a lot, because Tejo's stun activates around 2 seconds after it lands. So this means that most of the times you should be using your stun first, and then damage type ability should be delayed a bit. But this doesn't matter that much if you're simply executing bomb sites. Now, his signature ability is called Guided Salvo, and same as with the previous one, you can only dodge it, but you cannot destroy it. Basically, you open up your Columbian iPad that has the same range as the Brimstone smoke pad, and you fire 2 rockets that can travel around corners towards designated locations, while the travel time depends on your distance from these positions. These rockets are completely unstoppable, and they will instantly destroy any objects that are in their way, such as ascent doors. And this mechanic is really powerful when you want to surprise enemies with some fast retakes or instant engagements. Also, this ability can fly through any area where you can go with agents, so it will destroy doors on Abyss, open doors on Fracture, and go through teleports on Bind. But for an example, it won't fly through this small gap on Pearl. When these rockets land on the ground, after 2 seconds delay, they will detonate 3 times, where each explosion deals 70 damage if you're standing in the center of this circle, 61 damage in the outer circle, and 57 damage on the edge. Essentially, if you don't get out of this circle, you're cooked no matter how many health points you have, and if Tejo fires 2 projectiles at the same spot, they will deal double damage. Now, this ability doesn't work as a regular Molotov, it is actually an explosion bubble that explodes multiple times. For an example, if you place it on top of the B-side tube on Bind, you will damage enemies that are both inside and on top of the tube. But if you place this ability on top of a Tower of Haven, it will still damage enemies both on top and below tower, with a small twist. If you're below tower, you can actually crouch and dodge it. So this means that you need to be very careful and aware of this mechanic, especially if you're playing movement agents such as Jet and Raze. Because if you don't use your updraft or satchels fast enough, or you're not high enough to dodge this ability, you might become a cooked potato. This ability is perfect for playing post-plants, retakes, denying space, clearing angles, and destroying enemies' utilities such as Killjoy's ultimate and Cypher trip wires. Also remember that Guided Salvo resets 40 seconds after you use it, so in most of the rounds you might be able to use it more than one time. And enemies can clearly see the direction from which these rockets are coming, so if your goal is to keep your location a secret, maybe you should reconsider using this ability. When it comes to interactions with other abilities, basically one projectile can destroy literally anything, from Killjoy's ultimate to the whole Cypher setup. So this agent is the ultimate counter to Sentinels in Valorant, but there are 2 exceptions. Guided Salvo can damage Sage and Deadlock Wall, but even if you fire 2 rockets at the same spot, it is not enough to break them. Now, this ability is amazing to cancel Gekko's ultimate and to counter Sova's ult, because Gekko's ultimate will be cancelled if he takes any damage, and if you know the exact location for which Sova is using his ultimate, well, he is dead. Chamber mains should also be afraid of Tejo, because if you know the exact location on which enemy chamber likes to place his teleport, you can put 1 rocket to pressure chamber and 1 rocket for his teleport. Also remember that no matter which agent you're playing, I'm looking at you, Phoenix mains, there is absolutely no way to heal yourself while you're getting bombarded from any Tejo's ability. Now, this ability works the best in combination with agents that have a lot of stuns, displacements, and damaging abilities, such as Astra, Breach, Cypher, Deadlock, Fade, Neon, Sage, Wise, and all of the previous ones that I've mentioned for special delivery. Same as with his stun, we can use these combos for both aggressive and passive setups. If you have Wise in your team, on Defender side you can create death traps with her walls such as this one. If you pay attention on the minimap and your surroundings, on defense you can use Guided Salvo to bombard enemies that are tagged by Cypher trip wires, Deadlock sound sensors, and Vise razor vines. As a final note, not only that you need to pay attention on proper utility timings, but also on your own positioning, because first these rockets need to travel onto designated locations, and then they also have this 2 seconds delay before they start dealing any damage. So most of the time, your teammates should delay their utility for at least 1 or 1.5 seconds. And if you want to deploy faster guided salvo, you need to have a clear path for your rockets. Now his ultimate ability is called Armageddon, and it is basically Breach's ultimate on steroids. You fire airstrike bombs that land after 3 seconds in the same pattern as Breach ultimate, but you can control the starting position and direction of this airstrike. The ability has a specific height on which it doesn't deal any damage, but in 99.9% of scenarios, it's impossible to dodge it vertically. And it will hit enemies that are both on upper and lower positions if a certain location has different verticalities. Each of these bombs deal 60 damage, so if you don't escape his ultimate, once again you are cooked. I guess Tejo is the master chef of Valorant. Mwah. When it comes to interactions with other abilities, it's literally same as guided salvo. Omen can teleport, Raze can satchel, Jet can dash, and Neon can potentially slide through his ultimate, but most likely you will die or you will take tons of damage. So TLDR, the only consistent way to counter it is to completely get out of his ult. Now, this ability once again works the best in combination with agents that have a lot of stuns, displacements and damaging abilities, but it is really strong in combination with Breach, Fade and Viper. Breach and Fade can pressure enemies straight forward with their ultimates, while you can cut off enemies from escaping their ults, or simply give them some backshots. Also, Tejo works great with and against Viper's ult, because his ultimate and guided salvo can literally cover the whole pit. So if you have Viper in your team, you can demolish enemies inside of it, but if enemies have Viper, you can flush them out of her pit and kill them. Now, there are a few mechanics and interactions that seem out of ordinary, and I don't know if this is going to be patched or not, but you should be aware of them. There is currently a bug that is probably going to be fixed in the future, where you can actually jump in between these ultimate bombs like this and survive with 30 health points. Also, as of right now, you can place Tejo's ultimate outside of his Colombian iPad, based on your game knowledge and awareness, in order to support your teammates a bit faster or to pressure enemies. Then, as I've already mentioned, Tejo's drone cannot use ziplines, but if you cast your drone while aiming up, you're able to place the drone on some extreme heights, such as a tower on Abyss. Then on some positions there is this bug where guided salvo will get stuck inside of objects if Sage Wall is completely blocking an entrance. And you can actually cancel Yoru's ultimate before he completes his animation, but this is how every suppress ability works in Valorant. It's same as Chaos Knife. When it comes to Tejo's economy management, on attacker side you definitely want to prioritize buying Stealth Drone instead of Special Delivery, whenever you don't have enough credits for both or if you're playing the first round. While on defense, Special Delivery is a bit more useful than his drone, because you can stall enemy executes or take some easy kills instead of choke points. But generally speaking, Stealth Drone is a bit stronger and more versatile ability, because even on defense, you can take early information for your team, you can reveal and suppress enemies during executes, and obviously it is really good for retakes. With Tejo, same as with any other agent in the game, you need to master every single weapon and become the John Wick of Valorant, because weapons that you're playing are dictated by maps and strategies that you want to perform. But there are two things that I would like to point out. Phantom might be a bit better on Tejo than a Vandal, because with guided salvo you can do a lot of chip damage. Also, Phantom got buffed a bit. And shotguns on this agent can be extremely broken on defender side of claustrophobic maps, because a lot of times you can pressure enemies with your utility into some close range gunfights. So just remember to always keep Shorty as your main secondary weapon if you have money to afford it, because it can grant you some free kills. Now, based on my Radiant experience, I think that Tejo doesn't have any map on which he is particularly bad in ranked environment. This is mainly because he works really well in combination with a lot of different agents, and he's also a great counter for many of them. Of course, on maps that are open with a lot of long-range corridors, he is not going to be the best pick, such as on Abyss and Breeze. But on these maps, he might be a really strong counter to some meta agents such as Cypher, Deadlock and Viper. Now, the best maps on which you should definitely main Tejo are the claustrophobic maps such as Bind, Sunset, Ascent and Split. While on Fracture, Lotus, Haven, Pearl and Icebox, he can have a really decent solo carry potential. So let's sum it up. Tejo is a great pick and counter pick for a lot of different agent combos. This agent can bring other agents such as Vice back in the meta. His drone is like a Sova's drone on steroids that is also extremely good for countering sentinels. His stun is like an underpowered neon stun, but still a strong addition to his overall kit. His signature ability is like 2 overpowered KO Molotovs, for which you don't need any lineups, and his ultimate is what Breach wanted to have since closed beta. That is why Tejo is currently sitting on top of A tier in my ultimate agents tier list for players' solo improvement. He is, alongside Gecko, the strongest and most versatile initiator to carry ranked games in Valorant. I guess I'll be coaching a lot of Tejo mains in the following months, and we're definitely going to do some Radiant educational series with this agent. Also, in my next video, I'm going to teach you some tips and strategies in order to hard solo carry your ranked games with Tejo, so make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you, my dear tricksters, in the second part of this guide.